All right. We're live on YouTube. We are live on Twitter. So now we are going to go live on TikTok. Let's see if we can get some Trump supporters to come on up and talk to us and see what is going on tonight. Obviously, a lot going on in the news, which is incredibly annoying, but let's share this out first and then we will get started. Maybe we could get some people to come on up and chat. Let's talk a little politics. Let's talk about what the disaster, the administration that is currently ruining our country is doing. Let's see if we can. I'm rambling here for a minute, because I'm trying to share out the live. So while I'm doing that, anybody that is in here and you are familiar with the live, please tap the screen. Let's try to get as many people in here as we can. Maybe we could talk to some Trump supporters and talk some sense into them. That's going to try to be my goal, I think, is to just try to reason with them, because I know there are some of them out there that already are kind of like, oh man, I think I might have made a huge mistake and I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to admit it. So maybe I could find somebody that will help me and save me and help me understand the mistake I made and then go from there. So sorry, I'm rambling here for a second while I share this out. So bear with me. But we're going to try to get as many people in as we can. And hopefully you can join us as well. And that's it. All right. I'm done with that. So if you are joining me, let's talk politics. Let's talk about the disaster that President Musk and Donald Trump has been for this country. Today, Kash Patel was named the FBI director, which may have put one of the final nails in the coffin until the resurrection. And unfortunately, I don't know when and how that resurrection is going to come, but it's going to take a huge turnaround here, because right now things don't look good. If you are just joining, please tap the screen. This is Raider saying more boring liberal BS. Raider, I am so sorry to bore you. Obviously, you don't have to be here, but I'd like for you to stick around because maybe you'll learn something. I'm not really sure if you're real. Sometimes a lot of bots come in here. They hear the language of somebody speaking truth to people and logic, and a bot comes in and says something like more boring liberal BS in all caps. He did put an emoji, so that might not be a bot. That might actually be a real person. My friend John Stone just joined. Thank you, John Stone, for joining as always. Please tap the screen. Let's get as many likes as we can. And then we are going to try to see if we can take some conversations with people. George Washington says Trump is not king. That, sir, you are correct. And unfortunately, he does believe that he is. And again, right now, things are not looking good. Trump owns you now. A lot of emojis here. There's a lot of laughing, a lot of pointing. And the sad part about it is that this poor fella doesn't know that he owns you now too. So turn those little emojis around and laugh back at yourself, because at some point you're going to be hurt by this. You don't know. I know. My friend John Stone, who came up, knows. The guy who claimed that Trump is not king knows. So, but you don't. And that's okay. Right now, we'll see. Larry Saw 1313 says it was humor. Are you talking about the I am king? Yeah, hilarious. I wonder what Fox News and Jesse Waters and Dan Bongino and Megyn Kelly and Joe Rogan and all these clowns would have said if Obama at some point joked about being king. They would have lost their shit to a point where people would have been probably arrested, because there are nutty people in our country. And those people like Dan Bongino, Megyn Kelly, and Joe Rogan, and Fox News, and all these people who know how to speak to you people, they would have used language to make you guys crazy, and it wouldn't have been good. So let's just put it that way. Stop lying. What am I lying about? Tell me. Let's get 1,000 likes, and when I get 1,000 likes, maybe we could talk to some people. Billy O'Toole says you're clueless. This is usually what happens when you first start a live. It's a bunch of MAGA people who jump on and just hear something when somebody's not saying something positive about their daddy, then they get in defense mode. So they just go right to the keyboards and they start, I mean, literally hitting those things really hard because they're so mad that somebody isn't stupid enough to bow down to their daddy and believe every single word that they say. And also a guy that wasn't even born here, who has made really a career of suckering his way into companies to make people think that he started them. And now he's suckering you people by making you think that he's going through the government and he's cutting spending and finding fraud that has been around for decades that they're finally exposing. I mean, the fact that you guys believe this so easily, believing it is one thing, because sometimes there are things I see and I go, holy shit, that can't be real. But the difference between me and you is I actually do some investigation on it. I look into it, I do more research, and I go, shit, I knew it. That didn't sound right. But you guys just hear whatever Daddy Trump and Uncle Elon say, and you run right to TikTok lives, and anybody that says anything against it, you run right to it, you lose your shit, and you're like, I'm going to type in and tell this guy he's a liar because Daddy and Uncle Elon told me. Let's see. Insert head back into sand. My head's, buddy, I can tell you one thing about me. My fucking head ain't no sand. I ain't scared of you people. None of you people bother me. None of you people scare me. So tell me to stick my head back in the sand. My head was never in the sand, son. So you don't have to worry about me. Clemson Rod, was Fauci elected? Fauci was appointed. Fauci didn't run for anything. He was appointed. So I'm not really sure what Clemson Rod's question pertains to. So I don't know. Come on, man. Says ICE hotline. He has the number to the ICE hotline. I have no idea why or what that even means. I don't even recall saying anything about immigrants. But maybe that's just he's freewheeling, I guess. Maybe. Love Lady 69. I can't say 69 without doing Billy Madison. 69. Just stop it. Just stop. It's your fault you don't believe in our country. Let me read that again because that didn't really make a lot of sense. I got to comprehend this. Just stop. It's your fault you don't believe in our country. Does anybody know what Love Lady 69 is referring to? I said nothing about the country. I'm referring to the losers like Love Lady 69 who listen literally all day. I know this woman. I don't know her personally, but I know her. You know what I'm saying. I know this woman sits all day and she watches Fox News. She listens to the batshit crazy podcast. She is on X constantly and probably Truth Social, although I don't know if she's paying to be on Truth Social. But those four things, this woman immerses herself with it because that's the kind of comment that those kind of people that sit there all day and do that, that's the kind of comment that I see from those kind of people. All day long immerses himself in it without doing any research outside of what they tell her. And then she comes in again, she comes into a live and says, just stop. It's your fault you don't believe in our country. I've always believed in our country. I 100% do not believe in the moronic idiots that are attempting to run it. Noah Spence says, thoughts on Kash Patel. My thought on Kash Patel is that is the worst hire maybe in American history, the worst appointment in American history. And it's up there. with some that you have seen just over the last few weeks. And the worst administration in the history of this country by far is the one that we have now, because none of them are qualified. They are what you guys would consider, based on your definition on what you think DEI is. These are classic DEI hires. They are the most unqualified people in the history of this country to be appointed to the places that they were appointed to. Now, I want to back up. I don't believe, not even that I don't believe, I know DEI hires aren't based on somebody that's unqualified and they're getting jobs over people who are more qualified. I know that that's not what DEI is. I'm just saying, based on what you people think DEI is, if we're going by your definition of DEI, then 100%, these are all DEI hires. The president is a DEI hire. Elon Musk is a DEI hire. You know who the only one that might be someone that's like, at least on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to put 1 as the worst and 10 as the best, Marco Rubio's at least kind of like a 5. But Marco's a big pussy. And the reason why they put Marco Rubio, just like they put the rest of them in there, is he's a yes man and he's a do boy. Because Marco Rubio for years did nothing but praise the phenomenal agency that we had in this country was USAID. And most people praised it. But because we have con men that are coming in and they know they are speaking to a people like, what's her name? Lovelady 69. Lovelady 69 is convinced USAID is the worst thing she's ever heard of. But the problem with Lovelady 69 is she's never heard of USAID until Elon Musk and Donald Trump brought it up. Now she's celebrating the fact that they're potentially gone. But we'll see about that once we go through the court systems. User says, it's funny how you call all these people clowns. Clearly, they're very successful, intelligent, and SMA, self-made, I believe is what you're saying. Donald Trump 100% is not self-made, and Elon Musk is not self-made. They both had rich daddies. Elon Musk, kind of a little bit, because he went in, he suckered himself, or he suckered people into believing, like he started PayPal. He had nothing to do with starting PayPal. That was actually Peter Thiel, who started PayPal, brought Elon Musk in. They actually wound up getting rid of Elon Musk because he was a big pain in the ass. And then when they sold PayPal, he bought his way into Tesla, which was already something that was established. And there's one thing about Elon, the difference between Elon and Donald Trump. Elon has, I guess, some good ideas that would benefit the companies that he suckered himself into, but he's still a grifter and he's still a con man. Donald Trump, 100% is not even close to a self-made billionaire. He was as big of a disaster of what you'd call a businessman as any person that claims to be a businessman. This guy never made profit. This guy didn't file bankruptcy once, which most great businessmen don't file bankruptcy. They might one time. He didn't file it just twice. He didn't file it just 3 times. Everybody strap in. It wasn't 4 times that he filed for bankruptcy, and it wasn't 5 times that he filed for bankruptcy. He filed bankruptcy 6 times because he was so awful at everything he put his hands on. He literally destroyed everything he put his hands on. Donald Trump would get involved in one business and he would get so far behind on the payments, he would start a second business without catching up on the first one. So now he's behind on 2 businesses. Then he'd do it again and again and again. And that's why he always had to file bankruptcy. That's why he always had to take out high interest loans, because banks stopped giving him money. This is why he had to take out junk bonds to finish the Taj Mahal at 14% on the money that he borrowed on a casino that cost multi-millions of dollars. And people literally who knew the casino business said there is no way he's going to be able to sustain this. Zero chance that he could sustain the amount of money that he is borrowing for this casino and to get it back. So this is what happens when you are way in over your head. You destroy 3 casinos, you destroy an airline, destroy a water company, a magazine, a university, his own, what do you call it? Charity. He stole from, his son stole from. The Trump family is an unmitigated disaster after his father died. I mean, just an absolute disaster. His dad was actually a good businessman, still a scumbag, but he was actually a good businessman. He was an actual billionaire. And Donald Trump rode those coattails. And daddy passed away. And that was basically the best business move for Donald Trump, is going to his dad's funeral and being in his dad's will. That's the best business decision Donald Trump ever made. And obviously that's not a decision. Baby Juggernaut, thank you for joining me on YouTube. If you're joining me on YouTube, I am live on TikTok. So if anybody actually wants to come up and talk and chat about any of these comments that you guys are talking about here, let's hear your accomplishments, Brian. Oh, this is Threat Level Midnight. I remember the name because I'm a big Office fan and I love Threat Level Midnight. It was obviously a great movie. The great Michael Scott was the director of that. My accomplishments, you want to know. Listen, I'm not running this country, Threat Level Midnight. I am doing what we are allowed to do in this country. I thought, did we have free speech? Let me ask you, are we allowed to have free speech in this country? Because free speech tells me that I'm allowed to criticize our government. Is that not, or is that correct, or is that not correct? I would like to know what your thoughts are on that, because my accomplishments mean nothing. I'm talking about the people who are running our government and are affecting me, my loved ones, my coworkers, you, Threat Level Midnight, and everybody else. The Gambler says I'm embarrassing myself. Well, you know what? Gambler, start your own TikTok live and let's see how you do. Cry, cry, cry. Brian, just stop. Oh, we got some guests who want to come up. So let's see. Oh, it's my friend John Stone. John Stone, how are you, sir? I am doing very well. What's going on? In just the last 2 weeks. Go ahead. One, a 200-foot Jesus on the White House lawn. I have not. It's all over TikTok. What are they? They think that there actually is one? Yes. Yes. Johnstone, I mean, again, we're in a country now where people think that Elon Musk so far has saved $55 billion, when it turns out it's really about $8 billion. And quite frankly, because of the fact that he's not being transparent with his own Doge caucus, and they're not even allowed in meetings and allowed to look at anything, I'm skeptical about the $8 billion. He wants to cut he said $2 trillion. There's no chance they're getting to 2 trillion. I think I heard somebody, John Stone, say that they could fire every single person in government and it still wouldn't add up to $2 trillion in savings. So yeah, I mean, we've got a country that is hook, line, and sinker. They know exactly how to talk to these people. And unfortunately, they have an army behind them. You and I have talked about this before. That right-wing propaganda machine that is funneled with billions and billions of dollars is destroying this country. And quite frankly, I don't know how we come back from it or how to combat it. What do you think? Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And also, these MAGA morons, they put out different figures, but like the first figure was every taxpayer, I believe they said everybody in the country, but every taxpayer is going to get an $8,000 check from Donald Trump. And MAGA morons, please take out your calculator.
Right.
I want you to do that, or write these numbers down to do it later. But there's 150 or so million taxpayers in this country.
That would qualify for that.
And you come up with 1,200. People are dumb.
Yeah, first of all, there's actually, I saw somebody else earlier today. They did the same calculation and they did it on $5,000 because that's one of the numbers that was floating around too. And $5,000, if you gave it to everybody that qualifies, it's $1.2 trillion is what it would have come out to. And first of all, they're asking for $4.6 trillion to raise the debt ceiling. They don't even have anywhere close to the amount of money that they can save in the government to cover that $4.6 trillion. So every economic expert, and this is the problem, John Stone, you and I will listen to economic experts, not just one that we find that we feel like listening to because it satisfies what it is that we want to hear. Literally every economic expert has said that Donald Trump's plan, if they are to skyrocket the debt and with the tariffs and everything else that he wants to do, is going to raise inflation and it's going to cause a recession, a bad recession in this country. And that's why all these people who are on my live and they're laughing and they're celebrating, and I say, you guys have no idea what's coming. They don't know what's coming. They don't. And it's sad. And you're trying to warn them, but they don't want to listen.
Exactly. I believe the figure is about $1.7 trillion. That is if you fired every government worker
Right.
and got rid of every cent of discretionary spending.
Right.
It would be less than $2 trillion.
Yeah, and they're getting rid, or they're attempting to, and we'll see if that works out or not, but they're attempting to get rid of really good programs. Now, see, here's the difference. And I'm going to go through some of the comments too. If anybody else wants to guest up and chat, we certainly can. But there are so many people who are listening to us and they're laughing at us and they're like, you guys have no idea. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to our country. But they don't want to listen to experts. They believe the experts are Joe Rogan. They believe the experts are Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I mean, two of the biggest grifters in the history of the world. They think that these two people are experts. I don't know how anybody listens to Donald fucking Trump for 1 second and goes, that guy's brilliant. Literally every time I hear him talk, I'm like, how do people buy into this fucking guy? It drives me nuts. And I don't know if you saw Elon Musk today. He was high or whatever he was on when he was speaking at that CPAC convention today. That dude was on something. I don't know what the hell was going on with him. You there?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that interview. He's got sunglasses on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a
that's
clown. He's a child, and this is the guy that people praise and think that he's some hero. But we got some other people who want to guest up. Johnstone, I know you said you got to go. Do you have anything you want to add? Anything else?
I don't think it'll be helpful because you cannot get through these people's thick skull.
No, it's not. I think it's more therapeutic for me, though. So, but I think if you just get one person, because you got to remember, all these people in the chat, they're brainwashed maggots, as we called them earlier. But there are people out there that are kind of listening to these lives and they want to hear both sides and they want to hear, well, I don't know, maybe there is a point here. and maybe there's a point there. Maybe I should research this a little bit more than just, listening to Joe Rogan all day or listening to all these clowns. We have one guest. I'm going to get to that here in just a second. But I did see somebody try to sit here and convince me. Here's a couple people saying that it's Chapter 11, which is just readjusting debt, and other people saying that that bankruptcy is a smart thing. Bankruptcy is sometimes a smart thing for businesses. When you pass yourself off as a self-made billionaire, there's no fucking such thing as filing for bankruptcy for 6 times. Stop acting like you know what you're talking about. I know you hear somebody say something to that effect, but come on, guys. All right, let's pull up another guest here. This is Trace. Hey, Trace, how are you? What did I hear in the background? Is that a baby?
Yeah, I got my 2 kids are playing right
now. Oh, all right. Well, tell them we said hello. Trace, if you don't mind, for TikTok purposes, what is your age and what state are you from? Yep.
Texas.
You're from Texas, the great state of Texas. We love Texas. Did you vote for Donald Trump by chance? All right, I'm going to give you a few minutes to talk because normally if you didn't vote, I don't normally talk to people who don't vote because, I have a hard time hearing anybody with either praise or criticism of anything when they did not.
I'm not saying I didn't want to vote.
I understand. I understand.
I just couldn't vote.
Who would you have voted for?
I probably would have voted for.
Well, he wasn't running.
He was still on the ballot, so.
Okay, so you would have voted for RFK.
I would have voted for RFK.
Okay, so what did you want to talk about?
No, I just have a few just real quick questions. It's just
Yep. Yep.
Because you can't have the conversation on both sides. But my thing is, I just feel like, so many things that you've been saying is so little stretched.
Okay, like what?
Elon saying, he has no just suggestions. You know what I mean?
Well, they've already come in and dismantled. I mean, they literally took the words, the USAID, their office, they took those down. I mean, they've already dismantled agencies. And by the way, these agencies that he's dismantling, and they're also going to be in court. So we're not exactly sure exactly if they're totally going to be gone. But did you know USAID was investigating Elon Musk's Starlink company before the election? Way before the election, they were investigating him for his use with the Starlink during the Russian-Ukraine war. And there's also multiple other agencies that he came in to dismantle that are investigating him. So I don't know, just as a human being and as an American, and listen, here's what I do. You can hear me say it, and that's fine. I don't want you to just go ahead and believe what I'm telling you. I want you to hear what I'm saying and then go investigate this later to see if Elon Musk was in fact being investigated by the agencies that he has taken down. But for me as an American, I don't care what side it is. If anybody had specific proof that Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Obama, whoever it is that you want to bring up was being investigated and that they came in and destroyed those particular departments that were investigating them, I don't know. As an American, I'm a little queasy about that.
So what you're trying to say is pretty much Elon Musk is with Donald Trump.
Yes.
So he would no longer be investigated by.
Yeah, I think that he was praying that he won the election, Donald Trump, and that's exactly why Elon Musk spent $250+ million on this last election. Now, let me ask you a question. You're 23 years old. So I assume this is only your second time that you could have voted. No, I'm saying, so this is the second time that you could have voted, right? Because you could have voted in the last election, but not the one before it. You're 23, right?
Yeah.
Which means you were 19 in the previous election.
Yeah.
And then you could not vote in the one. So this is only the second election you could have voted in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was asking. So I think it's important because there's a lot of people who just hear what they hear now. They just listen. There's too many unqualified people talking about politics. And I'm not even trying to tell you that I'm one of the qualified ones. Not trying to tell you that. I'm telling you there's way more qualified people out there. But because they have huge microphones and huge audiences, people automatically assume that these are people who are in the know and who actually know politics. Could I ask you, as a 23-year-old, and be honest, there's no wrong answer, where do you get your information from politically?
Politically?
Yeah.
Honestly, so you'll go to plumbing stores and pretty much it's every news station. I mean, it just depends on what's on, what channel doesn't freeze. I mean, most time it's Fox News, most like just things like that. I mean, you still got to go through and what they say. You got to figure it out. They just tell you the title of the line.
Correct.
Just go look it up. So you can find damn near everything you want to find. If you can't find some on Safari, go to Google. If you can't find some on Google, go to Yahoo. If you can't find some on Yahoo, go to me. And just go through all those different things. You'll find a website that just has both sides, and it's just like, this is what's wrong. This is what's going on.
Are you saying that you do that? Do you go and do you investigate something that you hear without automatically believing it?
Yeah.
Like, do you believe that there was $50 million in condoms going to Gaza?
What, sorry, what you say?
Do you believe the story from Doge where $50 million worth of condoms were going to Gaza?
HIV and stuff like that.
It was, but what Elon Musk did originally is he put out in the news that it was $50 million of condoms going to Gaza. And then the idiot president, or the one they call president, Donald Trump, went and regurgitated that the very day that Elon Musk said that he found $50 million worth of condoms going to Gaza. And then that very night, Jesse Waters on Fox News said that they were using them as balloons to send explosives down the river so they can send them to the Palestinians. And then it turned out that it actually, first of all, wasn't even close to $50 million. And it turned out there's a province in Africa where there is an AIDS epidemic, where they were sending some condoms to and sending them to other places to help prevent HIV and stuff like that. But Elon Musk, 9 days later, was called out by a journalist, and Elon says, well, we're going to make mistakes here and then, and we'll be quick to correct them. Well, it was 9 days later, and they didn't correct it. Do you know why they didn't correct it? And this is something, because I was going to ask you if you studied history beyond just the Trump era and just the last few years of politics, because this is decades in the making, where the Republican Party back in the Reagan administration, and I'm not going to bore you too much, I'm going to move forward because you may or may not even care about this, but back in the Reagan administration, there was a guy named Newt Gingrich who basically figured out, hey, we don't even have to tell the truth. We just need to get people to believe it. There was something called the Fairness Doctrine that was a law in this country where basically if you're reporting something in news on one side, you literally had to report it and counter it with the other side, which was made it fair. The Reagan administration got rid of that. then Newt Gingrich says, okay, well, fuck it. Let's just say whatever it is that we want to say. Just get people to believe it. That's all that matters. And then when you have Fox News and now you have unregulated and unqualified podcasters like Joe Rogan, who thinks he knows politics. He knows nothing. I said I don't know everything. I promise you I know way more about politics than Joe Rogan does. Joe Rogan's a superstar. He's a multimillionaire, and I know people think he's got that microphone and he looks smart when he talks about it, so he obviously has to know more than everybody else. I assure you, Joe Rogan's one of the dumbest people in politics or talking about politics. Huh? We got the. That's all right. Take care of the kids. I want you to take care of the kids. But listen, do you,
He's close to the door. He's old enough to play on his own. But the thing is, like, people have phones in their hands. They have this, they have that. You have to look up whatever you want to look up whenever you want to. So that's the thing. You know, Joe Rogan, they have the opportunity to look up whatever they say. But the thing with the Elon Musk thing is, when he said he should have research into it before he just started saying 50 million condoms. I think bomb ridiculous.
That was Jesse Waters on Fox News on one of the highest rated cable shows at 8 o'clock at night.
If I was the most Trumpist person, I wouldn't believe that.
Trace, the problem though is that you might be a one-off because you said you weren't even a Trump guy necessarily. Being an RFK guy, you're kind of Trump light, but the problem is that there are millions and millions of people who believe Jesse Waters. That's the problem. And when we have people who are voting on some of the most important things that are going to make a difference, I'm 53, Trace. You're 23 with kids. I feel way worse for you than I do for me because it is going to affect all of us at some point. And the warnings were there, but people don't want to listen. Do you know why? Because this is something that they have done for decades. This is why they sucker people with culture wars. This is why they sucker you into thinking that Democrats only care about trans bathrooms and boys playing in girls' sports. This is why they get you to think that Democrats, which by the way I am, and if you want to ask a Democrat who understands what he voted for and why he voted for, it had nothing to do with trans bathrooms. It had nothing to do with immigration and letting them in so they can illegally vote later. It has nothing to do with that. But when they say it over and over and over again, and not only do they say it over and over and over again, they now have a megaphone that is bigger than anything that the quote unquote mainstream media could give you. When you have all the podcasters, when you have the top rated cable TV show, when you have the guy who owns one of the biggest, if not the biggest social media platform for news, who can direct and basically shape the way he wants news to go out on his platform, that's very dangerous. And unfortunately, people are voting against their own interests. The problem is,
so when it comes to voting and stuff like that, it's not all based off, all also based off of what people can see. And if you, it's like, that's probably why one of the biggest things that a lot of people voted for, and the big topic now is immigration. Because, like, come on, that's not it. No more socks. I'm taking your socks away.
Socks are gone.
Socks are gone.
It's over for the socks.
You see certain influx and certain things. It's like, all right, well, a few years ago, it wasn't like this, or things like this, and like this, and like immigration comes in the construction world a lot. Like, because I mean, that's an easy job that pays well, and it's always in work. So you get a lot of people who, I mean, you see it all the time. They don't even have American IDs. They just have their ID from the country they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, and they don't really care how much they get paid. They just want the work. So you get the people who have been doing this some odd years, they want to switch a job or something like that. But this one guy who does the exact same job as you, but for cheaper, you want to do it good. But you'll do it cheaper, and that's a big reason why some people voted for. I mean, not like Donald Trump going towards the immigration side, because that's why the unions flip. That's why a lot of these construction guys flip towards that side.
Hey.
Most of the time they've been mostly Democrat, right? That's what they've been.
No, that first of all, there was the guy. Hey, there was a spokesperson for the union that said that they weren't backing Kamala Harris, but individually across the country, separate unions all went, and a lot of them went and backed Kamala Harris. But to your point, you might be able to find a person that says this, a couple people here and there that says it. But I live in the state of Florida where immigration was huge and immigration workers were huge. There is nobody. I've never heard anybody saying, I can't get this construction job because it's loaded with immigrants. That does not happen. And there's also another fact here. The fact is that under Joe Biden, the unemployment rate was under 4%. What they want it to be below 5%. The unemployment rate, which means people in the country were working at a pace more than any time in this country. It was under 4% for 2 straight years, which had not been seen in over 50 years. Joe Biden also created 16 million jobs. So people weren't, hold on a second, let me finish and I'll let you respond. Nobody was clamoring for jobs. People weren't like, I can't find a job. There were jobs all over the place. Joe Biden created more jobs than any president in the history of this country. And the unemployment rate was under 4%. Nobody was hurting for jobs, and that includes construction jobs.
Some of those numbers are a little bit inflated. Could also have been everybody was probably just going to probably just retire, things like that. And once COVID finally went through, because now we're not getting checks, people started going back to work. Do you think that could be a part of
the 2 million jobs, the 2 million plus jobs that were lost under Donald Trump? Absolutely. Joe Biden got those 2 million jobs back. He added an additional 4. Hold on. Hold on. Let me finish. And then you can, the 2+ million jobs that Trump lost during the pandemic, which I will tell you was not his fault. Doesn't matter who the president was. Whoever the president was going to lose those jobs. And whoever took over was going to gain those jobs back. No question about it. But Joe Biden not only gained those jobs back, he added an additional 14 million. And there's not been a president in the history of this country that has added more jobs to this country than Joe Biden. And you ask about the numbers being inflated, this, that. Every president gets to use the same economic metrics that every president prior to got to use. We don't get to change it because we don't like the numbers. So every economic and every single metric that we've ever used for every president, we're going to use for Joe Biden, we're going to use for Obama, we're going to use for Bush, we're going to use for Reagan, we're going to use for Trump. We're going to use them for all. And the numbers are the numbers, and they're inarguable. You can't argue the numbers. You just can't.
What was it, that one thing? I think it was before the first debate between Trump and Biden.
Tap the screen, guys, if you can, if you don't mind. Let's try to get some more people in here while we end the sock debacle over at Trace's home. And if you don't mind, please tap that screen. All right.
We're still fighting. Some things the White House they came out with that was a little that was bumped up a little bit when they were first going on the debate, and that was even from Fox News. Where I heard it from, what news station?
I'll believe you. It doesn't matter. What did you hear? It doesn't even matter. I don't care what news station.
I think NBC It's like a small margin. They're like boosting their numbers and stuff.
Yeah, so I'll tell you exactly what happened. No, but let me. First of all, they didn't do anything nefarious. I'll tell you exactly what happened. So this is a huge agency that counts these job numbers and does all these things. And just like Elon Musk says, we're going to get some things wrong every once in a while. So are all other agencies. It doesn't matter. There's no agency in this country that's perfect. So what happened is there was one cycle where they counted 1 million too many jobs. Now, the difference is what they did is they found their mistake and they corrected it. This wasn't like Fox News dug into it like they were journalists and found that they lied about 1 million jobs. The same administration that counted those jobs found out that they were wrong and came out and corrected it. Guess what else happened? You know when else that happened? That happened with 500,000 jobs under the Trump administration. So these kind of things happen. But see, this is the part that concerns me the most, Trace. What concerns me is people just hear this in the periphery, right? And they just hear the Biden administration lied about 1 million jobs, so I can't believe about all the jobs that he actually created without knowing the facts behind it. And I'm glad you asked that question, and I'm glad you're curious about it. And again, I don't even care if you don't believe me, but I would please just ask you just to research to see if what I am telling you is wrong. And if I am wrong, DM me and say, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You are complete. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse in front of your kid. All right. But that's the facts. That's what actually happened. This was a huge agency. They made a mistake. They corrected their mistake. They did the same thing during the Trump administration with 500,000 jobs.
So, a little bit more forgiving on what Elon just said?
No, because the difference is Elon and the Republicans use this language on purpose, and they do it to incite. They do it to make people angry. They know if people heard $50 million there's one of two things. Either he completely lied or they're completely inefficient and he has no business running this department. Because did you know that they claim that they've already found 55 billion dollars in savings? But when you go to their own website, you can only account for 16 billion. And then there's one other thing. Did you know out of that 16 billion, they still haven't corrected a mistake that they made, that one of the contracts was for 8 billion, not 8 trillion. So they had to, or not for 8 billion, not 8 trillion. So they had to back that out too. So again, they're not fixing anything.
Someone's in there. So let's just say, like, it wasn't Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Would it be okay if someone was going?
Yes. Somebody that was, so there's a couple things here, Trace. A, somebody that's qualified. B, somebody that doesn't have investigations against his own company. That's something I'd feel really comfortable with. I want to make something clear because this is something I hear, and I'm not saying you necessarily, but I want to make this clear because I hear this from MAGA people all the time. Why are you liberals so mad that they're cleaning up government corruption? First of all, there's not an administration that doesn't go in and doesn't try to clean up waste. They're trying to make you think this is the first administration that ever thought of anything like this. Bill Clinton actually came in and cut like 300,000 jobs over a 3-year period. But the way he did it is he went through Congress. They had a huge agency to get together to figure out the best way to make these cuts. And then it went through Congress. They voted on it, and they voted on it overwhelmingly. These guys come in here against our Constitution, do not vote on anything. They are not transparent on anything that they are doing. Look, ask Jared Moskowitz, who is part of the Doge caucus, who went on television and said they are not even letting us in the meetings. We're not even allowed in. So to me, that reeks of just complete corruption. So yes, to answer your question, fully fine with people looking in and cleaning up waste. What I want is a bipartisan group of people who go in there and clean up the waste. I have no problem with that. And that's what I was going to say earlier. The MAGA people make you think that we're mad about it as Democrats. There's not a person in this country that is against cleaning up waste. Not one. Not one. There might be some idiot, but if you found one, then you can just go, dude, you're a moron. I don't care what side you vote for. But outside of that, most logical Americans are all for cleaning up waste. There is a lot of spending that is wasteful in this country. No question. Keep in mind now, some of it's subjective. Some of it may benefit you and your family. Some of it may not benefit, a family. So the one that it doesn't benefit, they might go, I don't give a fuck about Trace and his kids. I think they should get rid of this. And you're like, well, wait a minute. We benefit from this. So do you see what I'm saying there? Is I'm okay with that. But Elon Musk doing it is a fucking joke. It is a joke. He's under investigation by the very people that he is cutting out. And to me, already, that reeks of corruption. And if everybody really gives a shit about corruption, they should give a shit about this.
So on the over expansion of spending for it needs to be so it just needs to be cut down when it needs to be cut down. Bipartisan deal, both sides of the aisle working on it to push towards.
Yes. And it should go through Congress. Otherwise, it's unconstitutional. You cannot just come in. You can do some executive orders. And if you see more than, I think it's like half of Donald Trump's executive orders are already sitting in court. And who knows what's going to happen with them. I'm assuming you're going to see a decent amount of them go to the Supreme Court. That scares me a little bit. But you can't just come in as president. You can't, there are rules and regulations. There are checks and balances. That's why we don't have a king in this country. That's not what the founders were here for. That's not what they put this country together with, to have a king. In fact, they even asked George Washington, dude, do you want to be king? And he's like, nah, screw that. I don't want to be a fucking king. I want to come in, do my job for a little bit, get the fuck out, and let somebody else do it. That's what that's what everything was based on. Now you have a guy that's coming in, literally calling himself a king. He's retweeting himself with a crown on his head. And I know people are saying he's just joking. Ha, ha, ha. That's funny. That's not funny. It's not funny right now. There's millions and millions of people in this country about to be affected. What's that?
I thought that was a reference like New York.
No. Well, he also, the White House also retweeted a picture of him on a fake magazine cover with him wearing a crown on his head. So quite frankly, here's the deal. Even if he was joking, to me, that's not fucking funny. I don't want the guy that is elected as president. I don't care because, see, I've been around a lot longer than you. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. Believe me, I wish I was your age. Well, actually now in this day and age, I want to fast forward my life, to be honest with you, with this fucking mess we got going on in this country. But I have seen presidents, Democrats, Republicans, and I will tell you this. Whether I agreed or disagreed with those former presidents, never in my life did I have ill will or ill thoughts about those people. Never. It never occurred to me. George Bush, I didn't like the way he handled post 9/11. We had the chance to be, I mean, without a doubt, we were so beloved around the world. And to me, that's important. I know a lot of people don't give a shit about that, but it is important to me that this country is looked on and looked upon as somebody to look up to and somebody to emulate. That's what I've always learned. That's what I always thought America was. We are not a country to emulate anymore, and nobody is looking up to us other than those other countries that love dictators.
one thing I want to say, I just want to get back to the one before. I think we still emulate a prosperous country, even though team sucks and everybody's fighting each other for honestly no reason. But it's just like one of those things. Like, we saw so many people come to this country. They know this is the place to be. Like, you can make a living, you can eat better. You know, like, the life is good. I still think we still emulate like a good projection around the world. Yeah, people may not like that we kind of big brother, but I mean, if they had that opportunity, they do the exact same thing that we're doing.
Yeah, and Trace, I'm going to let you go here because there's a couple other guests that want to come up. I do appreciate you coming up, and normally I don't let people who didn't vote, talk this long. But you're a younger guy. I hope that in the future, because right now I'm just telling you, I've seen many elections, and I've been following politics for almost 30 years. This is different than any other time that we will ever see in this country. And I'm here to tell you, Trace, things are going to get very bad. They're going to get very bad. And I'm not saying it to be hyperbolic, and I'm not saying to scare anybody. But if you truly have followed politics for decades, like I have, you're going to see that this is not going to be good. And I'm not a religious person, but if I were, I'd pray for you. I'd pray for your family, because I'm frightened about, especially in the industry I work in. I work in mortgages, and mortgages are about to be an absolute disaster. Buying cars is about to be an absolute disaster. Prices of gas, prices of food, prices of everything are going up, and the recession is coming. And I hope it's not as bad as I think it is, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be as bad as we think. But I do welcome you, Trace, to say, hey, man, you were trying to scare me. You're trying to scare my family, which I'm really not trying to do. Come back and tell me I'm wrong at some point. There's nothing more in this life than I would love to be right now than to be wrong. I wouldn't. I would love to be wrong. Yeah. Yep.
Just fine. Just like the last 4 years and the 4 years before and everything like that, I think we're going to be all right. It's going to go up and it's going to go down, but I think everything's going to end out all right. I wouldn't be too scared about anything. I just hope that people, when they see something that's kind of interesting to them, just look into it. That's all I really got to say.
I love your optimism, Trace. I love that you came up and chatted. Tell the kids we all said hello. Everybody in the chat, tell Trace and his kid hello. And listen, the only thing I ask you to do, again, you don't even have to believe everything I'm saying. Just investigate what I'm telling you and just say, okay, he was right about that. And if I'm wrong about anything, hit me on the DM or whatever, or come up next time I'm on live and tell me about it. We'll talk about it. But thank you, Trace. I appreciate you coming up, and have a good night with your kids.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. All right. Who else we got? Let me see if there's any interesting comments real quick. Rose says, hi, Rose. Well, Brian Miller, Mayo, with all caps, says you are so wrong. And let's see, he's got 7 exclamation points, it looks like. So maybe I am. I mean, because that's a powerful statement. Rose says, recession, yes. That is what Biden and administration had planned for. Use your thinking cap. We avoided the recession. In fact, we had the soft landing that a lot of the economic experts said that we may not. Hold on. I got to do this shit. All right. The economists said that during the pandemic that it's going to be very tough to get this soft landing. Now, somebody like Rose probably has no idea what a soft landing means, but we wound up getting the soft landing that a lot of the economic experts said that we were not going to get. Also, as a mortgage loan officer, really, just for my business, we really needed Kamala Harris to win. We needed her to win because everything was going back to normal. I see it. I see it every day. I read economic news every day. I follow interest rates every day. This is something, if anybody wants to come up and chat about it, please come on up. We will chat about interest rates all fucking night if you want to. I know for a fact what is happening now. Interest rates, first of all, they're not going down anytime soon. Probably no time this year. And in fact, they might even tick up a little bit. And when I say go down, I don't mean you can't, if there were 7.25 today and it goes down to 7 tomorrow, I'm saying they're not going to go down to the place where most mortgage loan officers were ready to celebrate. Even if we got down to 6% or 5.5%, celebration time. But rates are going to stay high for a while. All right, let's bring somebody else up here. Quest, I see you waiting. I'll get to you after this one, okay? But thank you for joining, Quest. I see, and I thought I saw April in here. Hey, April. Let me see if I can get a couple of other highs in here. And while I'm getting the highs in there, guest, first of all, what do you want me to call you? Hi, Veronica. It's very nice to meet you. Are you over the age of 18?
Yes.
Okay. And what state do you reside? Texas. Another Texas. All right. So we got Texas and Texas. Did you vote for Donald Trump? Oh, thank you. All right, good. So now we can have a reasonable conversation. Veronica, how can I help you this evening? Oh, yeah. I know. Yep.
And if people are not understanding what's going on until it hits their doorstep, and it's coming. Because with the dismantling of so many departments, it is going to delay any funding if it's coming. And people don't understand struggle until they're in it.
Yep.
And when you're in it, it's too late. I'm comfortable of being proactive and reactive. Because when you're reactive, it's too late.
Yep.
It is too late.
Yeah.
And so when they can no longer use Medicare and they can't get their prescriptions,
yep,
that is when people are going to open their eyes. And it is too late then. When your kids are with 50 students because education has been slashed to the bone, and it's coming. I'm a teacher. I see it every day on my campus.
Yeah.
Classrooms are swelling. People are running from education. And in Texas, we have over 5 students. Only 100,000 vouchers have been allocated towards private school. And not people sending their kids to private schools because it's too expensive.
Correct.
And for those individuals who will use the vouchers, they are those who don't even need it. They have the money already.
Correct.
And people are failing to realize that what is coming for private school is not good. They plan on indoctrinating kids
Yep.
with information that is not healthy. And it is not be healthy. And it's going to take the voice away of girls. It's going to take the choice away to if you want to have a career, you want to go out and explore the world. That is not the agenda. The agenda is to get back to building families, having kids, and it's going to take the voice away of girls. So any parent who has a daughter, and even a son for that matter, because it's going to force young boys, young men to think differently about move with females. And people just don't get it until it's too late.
Yep.
It's sad what's going on, and to see comments from people who are suggesting that you don't know what you're talking about,
Mhm.
and it's my fault, and it's this person's fault. People are not paying attention. It doesn't matter at this point whose fault it is. You have to keep your eyes on what's going on.
Yep.
And because people are still in the clouds and they're fussing and worried about things that have nothing to do with the present, they're going to be reactive, and they're going to get caught up because they're not paying attention. The recession is coming. If they pay attention and plug into a news source that is reliable, and it's not CNN and it's not Fox, they are not reliable news sources.
Yep.
And if you did not know, news is being censored. It is being censored.
Yeah.
Because if you tap into news sources that are beyond the boundaries of America, you will hear news. You will hear about what's going on, what's coming from America. It makes no sense for this administration to forewarn us about what is coming. That doesn't make sense. That's not their plan. If we were to tell you what's coming, people would be in the streets in a much greater way than they are.
Yeah.
People are not paying attention.
Well,
Pay attention to like the job losses. There are the IT sector.
Yep.
They are laying people off, but you don't hear about it in the news.
Yep.
The healthcare industry, they are laying off people. United Healthcare slashing 25,000 jobs.
Yep.
Pay attention to do you see new vehicles on the street? You do not see new vehicles on the street.
Yep.
You don't see it. There is a lot going on. Trucks that sold last year for $50,000, they're selling them today for $33,000, and they still can't move them.
Right.
Where I live, there is no new home construction, and land has been totally cleared for new home construction.
Yep.
There is no one, and I mean no one, building houses. They are slashing prices $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and they still can't sell the houses. Shit is real, and people are not paying attention. They're not paying attention. They are worried about things that have nothing to do with right now. Screw Biden, screw Harris, screw all of it. Pay attention to what's going on right now. And they're not paying attention. They're doing away with, there's not going to be free lunch and free breakfast for kids. They're doing away with that. Anyway, U.S. Department of Agriculture. People are not paying attention. For some kids, the only time they eat is at school. That's it.
Yeah.
And people are not paying attention, and they're complaining about the prices of eggs.
Right.
I don't want to hear about goddamn eggs anymore. I'm sick of it. I don't want to hear about that. But if you tune in to what's going on outside of America, nobody's paying the prices of eggs that we are, except here. There's a lot of normalcy going on outside of the boundaries of America that nobody wants to pay attention because they want to talk about some goddamn eggs. They want to talk about the conspiracies. They want to talk about everything except for what's going on right now.
Yep.
And it's going to get bad. People need to pay attention. Pay attention to the weather cycles. Pay attention to what's going on with the weather cycles. People don't even pay attention to that. People don't even know that there are mechanisms in place that control the weather. They'll just tell you, oh no, that's a conspiracy. They don't even look it up.
Yep.
Look it. It is public material. It's public information. People have no desire to expand their mind beyond what someone else is telling them. And that's how you end up in a situation like this. The reason why education has not been pushed in this country in a long time is because of where it has led us to right now. There is not a whole lot that you can do with a educated population, but there's a whole lot that you can do with some dumbass people.
100.
That's exactly what's happening right now. And I see it on the feeds. I see it on TikTok. I see it in the comments. And people just, that is intentional bondage. When all you can do is regurgitate what you hear.
Yep.
You have no intellect for yourself.
No original thought.
From ignorance. I'm so glad. Don't.
Yep.
Because for me, knowledge is power. You're not going to tell me something, and I'm just going to digest that. I'm going to go seek out the information for myself. I think it's paramount to my own existence. And I have adult kids. It is important that I exchange information with them so that they're educated, because it's going to affect your kids. And you're going to be sitting in your living room looking at each other like, how the hell did this happen?
Right.
It happened because you stood on ignorance. That's how it happened. You stood on hate. And people are so full of hate that takes up your time from going and seeking out real information because you're so stuck on what you've been fed. You have no incentive to go and find something different because you're finding stupid.
Veronica. Yeah, Veronica, so you said, and everything you said, I 100% agree with. I mean, because we are living in a society now where people are going to believe just what they want to believe. First of all, the people in the chat, I laugh at those losers. None of those people, there's literally not one thing that they could say to me about me that bother me. They are all losers. And like you said too, I was saying this the other day, I was so glad that I was not born with that thing in my brain that makes me mad at a Super Bowl halftime show or a Barbie movie or a beer can. I'm so happy that is not been injected in my brain. But here is one of the biggest problems as I see it. And I've talked about this numerous times. By the way, if you are watching on TikTok, tap the screen. If you are watching me on YouTube, Baby Juggernaut Angel, I see that you're commenting over there. I'll catch up on there in just a minute. I also do a YouTube show called Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. So I'm kind of doing it live. But I got a question, Veronica, and we talk about this all the time. We have this right-wing propaganda media that is funneled with billions and billions and billions of dollars. And it is designed to, as you were saying earlier, to distract people. This is exactly why Elon Musk and Donald Trump are throwing out there that, hey guys, just relax while we go through this audit or whatever it is they want to call it. Everybody calm down because when we're done, we might send all of you $5,000. And this is a way to distract them for a couple other months. So these morons go, they're going to get us $5,000 when most economic experts go, it's not viable. It will never fucking happen. There's no fucking way they can send every tax-paying American $5,000. And by the way, they're never going to get to the money that they want to cut out. They want to inject the debt ceiling to $4.6 trillion. And he wants to cut $2 trillion, which he's not even going to be able to do, which he actually even said himself. $2 trillion is kind of the high end. $1 trillion will try to get. And they probably won't even get there either. You were already looking at it and they're already a disaster. So you're right. It's all designed to sucker these people. And it is frustrating for somebody like you, Veronica, and it's very frustrating for somebody like me because we're looking at them going, like, this is 2 + 2 math. This isn't even like difficult stuff to understand. Why are you so engaged in this? And the only thing, Veronica, sadly, that I can come up with, the only thing is that this satisfies a hatred of other people inside of them to where it is so grand and so big that even if it is against their own interests, unless it is directly affecting them. But when it's directly affecting them, do you know what the problem, Veronica, is? That this billion-dollar propaganda machine has already written the script for these stupid flying monkeys. They are going to be told, this is why it's not our fault. This is why it's still Biden's fault. And they'll go around and regurgitate that nonsense. But anyway, what else? Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Interesting is the 4 states
Yep.
in the United States continuing to vote Republican. Situation improves.
Did you see what happened in Alabama? Did you see what happened in Huntsville, Alabama? Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yep. In fact, you are right to laugh at them because I said the same thing. If we're all going down, at least we're going to be able to have you guys see the flying monkeys in the chat. They're laughing now, but we're the ones when we're all going down on the ship. See, Veronica and I were forced onto the Titanic and we're like, no, we don't want to go on this boat because we already know about the fucking iceberg. We know about it. And you're like, ha ha, and you're laughing and you're up there dancing and everything. And you're laughing at us because we're down on the bottom of the boat, and we're like, God damn it, we're trying to warn you about this iceberg, and you're sitting there laughing at us. But it's going to hit, and as we're all going down, Veronica and I are going to point at you, and we're going to laugh at you. And you are right to laugh at them now, because that's exactly what they deserve.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I don't even think people understand that a lot of the blue states actually carry the red states.
100%.
Red states to help them survive. And they don't even know that.
California has the 5th largest economy in the world. The 5th largest economy in the world, from North Carolina and New York, does fund a lot of these red states. See, the other thing too is that, and you may agree, Veronica, and if you disagree, please let me know, but people have to keep remembering, we talk about red states, we talk about blue states, but if you go down each state, other than maybe West Virginia, every state, it's not a big blowout when it comes to Democrats versus Republicans. You still have people in Kentucky, maybe like 48% or 46% that voted, Democrat. So these are all people that we all live amongst each other. I live in the state of Florida. You live in Texas, which, again, because of the ruling class in these states, it's a nightmare. But I have plenty of Democrats in the state. I'm sure you have plenty of Democrats in Texas. And, we all live amongst each other. So what everybody in the chat who's laughing us needs to realize, you're in the same boat with us. We're in the same boat with you. We're trying to tell you, you know what? We're trying to take the water out of the boat so we all don't sink together. And you're taking buckets and pouring it back in. And you're like, dude, you're an idiot. What are you doing? And they said, well, Donald Trump and Elon Musk says this will get us, to land quicker if we put more water in the boat. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. We learned this in kindergarten that you can't do that.
When it lands on their doorstep, it is
100.
They've been talking about Social Security for decades now. Social Security, they do all kinds of stuff with Social Security. There's really not going to be anything there. For this younger generation, there won't be anything there. They will literally work their entire life.
Yep. Right. Yep. Yep.
Because,
they'll probably do it. 401ks will be gone. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Yeah.
So you really are on your own in terms of securing your retirement. You're on your own for that.
Yep.
If you don't, then you're screwed. But this generation now, those who are 15, 16, 17, they would literally work for the rest of their lives.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who've been suckered. First of all, they were suckered way before this election, but there's a new group of suckers, and that's very sad. There's a group of suckers who were made to believe that you're not manly if you don't vote for a woman. There's, especially a younger generation of dudes who listen to Joe Rogan all day and all this Theo Vaughns and Andrew Tates of the world, and say to themselves, because I've heard dudes go, I can't believe you voted for a woman. I'm like, dude, you voted for the dumbest motherfucker in the history of the American politics. And you're sitting there talking about a woman. That woman is 1,000 times smarter than Donald Trump. And 10,000 times smarter than the person that said it. But I'm having a hard time trying to figure out if anybody is really dumber than Donald Trump. I really don't know if anybody is stupid as this guy.
It's sad.
It is. It is.
It's really sad. Even if people were to just take a look at, his success or not.
Yeah.
They learn a lot of things, but people don't want to do that. They don't. It's much easier to sit back, digest information, and then get online and call it stupid.
100%. I don't know if you're a book reader, but if you are, go out and get the book Lucky Loser. I mean, it literally details what a horrific, pathetic businessman Donald Trump was. It is, I already knew how bad it was, but it's fascinating, Veronica, fascinating just how incredibly sad and terrible he was as a so-called businessman. But what he's able to do is he's able to market to people to sucker them. He suckered even banks into giving him loans when he had no business anybody giving him loans. So, and now he's obviously suckered a large group of people. This is the master plan of people like Steve Bannon. They know that Donald Trump was one big, stupid, empty-headed vessel and filled his heads and goes, I know I can use this idiot because he's got the charisma that I don't have or none of these other politicians have. So I can fill his empty head. It's basically Elon Musk or Donald Trump is the Trojan horse for Elon Musk and Steve Bannon and people like this and Stephen Miller. They know he's a big dummy. They know they can use him. They've used him. And now Donald Trump's probably happy just playing golf every day and letting everybody else do shit just as long as they say, just make sure you say that Donald Trump is king and he's running the show. Other than that, he's not going to do shit. He's going to lay back and do nothing.
Yeah.
It is. Yep, I agree. It's an American issue.
Yeah, it is an American issue. If you're not prepared, it's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's not liberal, it is none of that. And you hear people say that all the time.
Yep.
It is going to be a fight for survival.
Yeah.
That to me has nothing to do with politics. That has nothing to do with politics. People just can't get in the comments, when you're not an economist, you don't have to be in the comments to see what's going on. You're a liberal. It has nothing to do with being a liberal to see what's going on.
That's what I'm saying is that all we did was elect an administration to they love well, first of all, they're going to take advantage of all the people they suckered, and they're going to do everything for them. But what they're celebrating is that the greatest thing for them every day when they wake up, I've said this before, they wake up, they go to work, they come home, they go to bed, and all day long they are thinking about how happy they are that they control liberals and that their daddy Donald Trump won an election. And I would say that there are people around this particular person that are very concerned about the mental health of somebody who can't go like an hour without injecting Donald Trump into some conversation. I've said it before, they could be talking about photography and the guy will go, what about the picture that was taken of Donald Trump? And everybody's like, Jesus Christ, you have to talk about this guy 24/7. They are so happy about this. I've been around 53 years. I'm 53 years old and I have voted in many elections. I swear to God, I was happy when Joe Biden won. I was happy when Obama won. I was happy when Clinton won. But when they won, I moved on with my life. It's like, I'm not injecting Donald Trump into my life like these people do. And it's sad. It's pathetic. I want to say I followed you. Actually, anybody watching too, please follow me if you don't mind. Tap the screen. And also, if you don't mind too, go to my YouTube show, Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. I'm on here now, just on TikTok, but I'm on live on there. But Veronica, you want to wrap up with anything else?
No, thank you for taking me and putting me on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, do me a favor, come back, and next time you see us, come back, and anytime you want to come up and chat, because I did enjoy a lot of what you had to say.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, good talking to you.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right. All right, who else wants to come up? Anybody else do I have anybody else in the queue? Yes, I got my friend Quest. Let's see what Quest has to say. Quest, are you there? Are you there? Quest. Hey, man, first of all, let me apologize for having to hang there for as long as I did. Real quick, the Celtics won. Real quick, Celtics won. Let's go Celtics. A big win. First game back from the All-Star break. But anyway, Quest, what is on your mind? I always enjoy hearing whatever is on your mind. And tap the screen, everybody, too, if you can, please. Tap the screen. Go ahead.
What's his name? The last girl with kids who was 23.
Yeah.
2 years older than me. Research, whatever. But it's in my head. So Donald Trump, what really happened? So we're thinking about this. 2016, Donald Trump gets elected. You know, Donald Trump gets elected. He's versus Hillary Clinton. Obviously, Clinton, you know, she has her issues. You know, for most Republican conservative men, it's a woman. I don't want to vote for a woman, right? Also, emails. Donald Trump comes in. He promises to vote. Flop. It's that whole running in 2022, and everything in all order goes bad. That's just me being silly.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is Donald Trump's whole life. His whole life has been a big marketing scheme. I mean, he literally was involved in these buildings that he was putting his names on, and people thought that he owned these buildings. He didn't own these buildings. In fact, a lot of them were getting ready to be foreclosed upon because he was so awful that they said, look, your name, I guess, means something to people. So we're going to keep your name on here and pay your royalties. So that's the only way he was able to sustain any kind of business. But what were you going to say? Go ahead.
It's like 16 at the time. I was like, what this Donald Trump? I watched his son, Donald Trump Jr., which he's a loser, by the way.
I mean, a clown. Yeah.
Straight loser going like,
yep.
Support it. They were offering free food, free everything, free merch for people who showed up. I'm like, okay,
yep.
But regardless, watching that, and when I currently watched Elon Musk's interview with Donald Trump on Fox News, which struck me the wrong way. So Elon Musk decided to go next to Donald Trump for a political interview. Why does it strike me so wrong as a history major? Then it dawned on me. When was his last time a billionaire was next to the president? Can you give me a guess?
When the last time a billionaire was elected as president?
Not elected. When was a billionaire helping the president?
Oh, helping the president. I don't know when. Yeah. Yeah.
Chase, he bailed out the government twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you have a billion to the president who has enough power to afford whatever the president wants. He's right.
Quest, not to mention, and this is something that a lot of the MAGA people were saying prior to, and they would have lost their shit. But this guy wasn't even fucking born here. He's not even, he's an American citizen now, but he was born in South Africa. He has regular conversations with Vladimir Putin, has ties with China, and they are not even looking at that. That is insanity to me. It makes no sense. And by the way, real quick, there's some people in the chat that are like, and here you are yet talking about Trump when you are making fun of people sitting around that. Here's the thing. We're talking about the damage that is getting ready to be done to me and to everybody else, and even you clowns. That's a different thing. What I'm talking about is you guys think about him 24/7. Like sometimes your kids are even like, Daddy, why are you not paying attention to me? And you're just sitting there daydreaming about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. That's what I'm talking about, you dickbags. Anyway, Quest, go ahead.
Influence our, let's say, how old is he? Like 70 something?
He's 78.
Like next 10 years, which is a big point.
Yep.
He was next to Donald Trump in an interview. He's his right hand. He's currently involved in the government. That's insane to me. The last time we saw this was like Andrew Carnegie, J.D. Rockefeller.
Yeah.
These major people, like Andrew Carnegie was a steelhead. Rockefeller was an oil head.
Yep.
And oil is a big part of American history. So I'm currently watching with like, holy fuck, this is the next level. Like, if let's say, for example, if Rockefeller went up to Grant, or sex in the morning, like J.P. Morgan, probably Grant Ulysses, and Grant Jones President, it was like, hey, I should be your right hand man. I'm a billionaire. I should support you. Grant has issues, so she recently got bailed out. But imagine watching a president, a billionaire, who goes like, hey, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane work.
Yeah, and I think even now it is different. Again, when you have somebody that's not even born here, this is the richest person in the world. And again, how are I would love to see Fox News. I'd love to see the maggots in the comment section that if this were, say, George Soros, who was going through the government, and he was dismantling agencies that were investigating him. I mean, they would lose their minds. I mean, they would be talking about that constantly.
Like if Joe Biden make them
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. Or even George Soros, because George Soros is that's the devil that they made up for the right or for the left. They've already made him up as a devil. The thing about George Soros is there's not one of these people in the chat, not really anybody that mentions George Soros's name, that if George Soros walked right past them, they would even know who the fuck it was. They
The guy who wanted to be a U.S. senator.
say that again.
The guy who wanted to be a U.S. senator.
The U.S. senator.
Or I'm thinking he ran New York.
No. You're talking about no. George Soros is like a billionaire. He's a Jewish billionaire. So of course you're George Santos is who you're talking about. Yeah. Right. Yeah, George Santos is who you were referring to.
All the Trumpers worry about, America, Donald Trump. He's going to fix our country. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think owns a majority of courts in Europe?
The majority of courts?
Courts.
I don't know.
China working to support the industry for a couple decades. We actually, fun fact for the Trumpers who blame the Democrats for ruining the industry here. No. Exporting the industry for a couple decades now. We exported our industry to Mexico.
Yeah.
And then minor countries like Vietnam and China in the slack. China is supporting one of the major railways in Africa and buying stuff in Europe at the same time. So when they blame America for our industry dying, Joe Biden, our economy's dying.
Yeah.
Like, and also, I don't want to get heated over trying to give them a history lesson, even though it's something I want to, for history, talk about with the last guy I really like, Ronald Reagan and Lyndon B. Johnson. Something I want to talk about is, the Watt riots.
No, the what?
The Watt riots.
No. Oh, Watt riots. Yes.
For MAGA people, where do you think the thin blue line comes from?
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly right. And see, again, this is all language. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. The MAGA people don't understand history and where all these talking points and all these things came from. They don't understand there was something in the country called the fairness doctrine that the Reagan administration got rid of. There's a lot of things that they have no idea about because they are brand new to politics. Because I've made this point a million times, and I'm sure, Quest, you've heard me say it. The point is that politics was too difficult for a lot of these people in the chat to understand. So they stayed out of it. Now they found a guy who's a cartoon character, and it's easy to understand the cartoon character.
Too stupid to understand politics. I just think, as I'm going to the teaching field, I think they're just ignorant.
Well, they're ignorant. So I think anybody, if they want to, but what I'm saying is that they don't take the time and they don't want to take the knowledge. And I do say it's stupid because there is knowledge out there that's clear as day and they still believe it. So,
I can get that. Yeah. Also, one second. Tell us the history of the So the Dixiecrats, Dixiecrats formed the KKK during the Civil War. During for that. Anyways, what happened is Dixiecrats formed the KKK because they were disillusioned. A lot of Civil War people coming into the United States. The United States government, military occupied the South. All right. So the Dixiecrats formed the KKK. What happens afterwards? They decided to say, hey, let's become politics. So they joined politics. Lyndon B. Johnson was one of the few presidents that the Dixiecrats to form a coalition with the modern Democrats. What happened afterwards? Oh, Johnson Johnson was progressive, so the Democrats didn't like that, so they joined the Republicans. Sorry, the Republicans became super conservative.
Yep.
And hey, racist Southerners like being conservative. I'm sorry.
Well, that's another thing. They don't understand that the party's basically flipped over time.
It's just that certain aspects of the party decided to join the ones that agree to their race.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. You're right. So, but yeah, no. Like I said, I mean, I don't know. You try your best, and like I said, I don't care about the people in here. The chat people, the people laughing, the people making the comments. I mean, I do, so far I've had one young man come up, said, I would have voted for RFK Jr. I noticed none of the Trump people are coming up. None of them want to come up. They'll just sit in the chat, but they don't want to talk about it. So, and that's fine. I get it. If you're comfortable just sitting behind the keyboard and yapping dumb shit, that's fine. You could do that all night, but you're certainly willing to, or if you want to come up, you can, but Quest, I always enjoy you coming up. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Honestly, for the Trumpers you're watching, please read more. Honestly, don't just absorb whatever Elon Musk or Donald Trump tells you. I'm on 5 different sources for my stuff. AP News, Wikipedia. I also have a custom source that I use for what is that called again? First-hand knowledge or first sources, because I'm a history major, so I write papers. So please do more research, because honestly, don't listen to what they tell you. Just research, please.
Yeah, I think that's a tough ask at this point, because I've told you before, a lot of the MAGA people, they are in this not because they care about politics. They are in this because there is a certain satisfaction that they think that they are trolling liberals who care way too much about transgender and immigrants and black people and all that stuff, which, here's the thing. As a Democrat, I care about all people, every single person that are good, hardworking people. I don't care who you are, but if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. But that satisfies them way more than even looking in to their own interests. And one day, and it's probably coming sooner than they think, or than we think, it's going to bite them, and it's going to bite them hard. Now, unfortunately, Quest, as I said before, they're already going to be brainwashed into why it's not Donald Trump's fault and Elon Musk's fault. I'm just letting you people in the chat know it's coming to you, and it's going to be Elon Musk and Donald Trump's fault. But they're going to tell you, I'm just warning you. So at least if you hear them start to tell you why it's not their fault, I hope you look back to this and just go, he did warn me there. Maybe he had a point, and maybe just one of you goes, yeah, maybe I was duped, because we're already hearing it. Quest, are you hearing it? Are you hearing some?
Watching Elon Musk on the actual government, which is also watching Doge is kind of insane. Also, the fact that he decided to fire so many people from the government. That's insane.
It is. Yep.
A billionaire walking into the government being like, hey, you're fired. Citizen.
Right.
Citizen either.
Right.
He gets that power.
I find it funny too that he fired all these IRS agents right before tax season, and who's celebrating that.
Also,
yep.
JSTOR is
yep.
a great academic source. I will type it in the chat.
Yeah.
That's for my college papers. That's what I suggest you use. That's where I learned a lot about my history. If you guys want to learn more, that's what it is.
Yep.
Please, because it's free.
Yeah. Do as much research as you can. But like I said, I mean, here's the difference. Like I said, we'll research something, whether it sounds good, whether it sounds bad. We're going to research it. They're going to listen. They're going to take it in and be like, nope, that satisfies me. Now I could go troll the libs with this ridiculous and stupid information. So, and that's why a lot of them don't like coming up and chatting with somebody that clearly has at least a morsel of knowledge of what's happening and what has happened in the past. They can only, they're stuck with the script that they just learned today from either Fox News or one of the podcasts that they listen to. So, but anyway, Quest, thanks for coming up, man. Thank you for joining our show last night too. I appreciate that. And as always, like with John Stone I talked to earlier, and Veronica. I see April's in here. April, good to see you. You guys are always welcome back. Thanks, man. You too. All right. So anybody else waiting? Let's see if anybody else. Nobody else. I mean, a lot of comments. I see a lot of comments on there, but I don't see anybody who wants to chat. I wish we would. I mean, I'll be cordial. I'll be as cordial as I can and try to be as nice as I can. If anybody wants to chat and school me, or what are they? I think the term on TikTok they like to use is dog walk. I dog walked you. Sure. Come on up and dog walk me, or whatever it is that you guys say. First of all, what the fuck time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock. Jesus. Yes, sir. I do see the comment. What do you want to say? Do you want to come up? You could come up if you want. Just hit the little guest button below and it should let you up if you want. But what's the comment that you wanted to make? We'll see if yes, sir, has any comment that he wants to follow up on, or if he wants to join the chat. You know what I did? I think I might have invited people up here on accident. So I don't know if people that are with the invite thing, I don't know if they actually want to come up or if they don't. If you want to come up and you've been invited and I'm not doing anything, I don't see anybody in the chat, but if you want to come up, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to get here pretty soon because it is getting late. By the way, the Celtics won. Go Celtics. Starting the second half of the season. And we are defending our championship from last year. So I'm an excited Celtics fan. But like I said, I'm also excited to talk to anybody in the chat. Let's go back and see if we can just catch up on a few of these. And then if not, if nobody wants to come up, then fuck it. We'll say goodnight. War ending and real estate comes back. That is from Steve. Steve, the war ending. First of all, the only thing I see right now is I see an American president on his knees, bowing. I mean, literally, Vladimir Putin is taking off that phony crown that he has on his head, and he is sticking it right up Donald Trump's ass. And he's laughing at him, and he is humiliating him. And he is bowing down to the president of Russia. Now, I don't know how old you are, Steve, but my America that I grew up in, Vladimir Putin's not your friend. He hates you, Steve. He hates you. He also hates Donald Trump. He hates him. Probably loves Elon Musk. But for you to be celebrating this war ending, if it ends in the way that it looks like it might, and this is with Donald Trump now helping Vladimir Putin end the war in Ukraine by decimating that country that was just sitting there, not hurting anybody, or are you one of the stupid suckers who believes that Ukraine attacked Russia? Please tell me you are. Please, I hope you're still here. Please tell me you're one of those people who think that Ukraine is the one responsible for this war. Please tell me you are. Other than that, get the fuck out of my room. Anybody sitting there defending Vladimir Putin and Russia can go fuck themselves, and fuck themselves really, really hard. Waste is waste. There's my friend April. Hey, April. Yeah. But Hunter, blah, blah, blah. I know Hunter. It's Jesus Christ. First of all, Hunter went through trial, right? And, so the Biden administration could have stopped that trial if they wanted to. They didn't. They let it go through. And yes, absolutely, he pardoned him, and he should have pardoned him. I would have pardoned him, no question about it. There's my doggy, Steffi Graf. Steffi's getting very impatient. She is whining at me. Steph, what's the problem? Are you mad at Donald Trump too? I am. Yes, come here. All right. All right. Oh boy, somebody's laughing at history books. They think history books are hilarious. Oh yeah, don't worry. Here for the politics, the history books are about to change to your liking, surely. Host is in his feelings, so VAD. What does VAD mean? Yes, sir. VAD. Is that a new word, or did you try to spell the word sad? You are a divider. I disagree with you, Donkey Girl. I am somebody that is trying to bring us all together. In fact, I am speaking on your behalf as well, because I care about you, Donkey Girl. You probably don't think I do, but I do. I care about you, even though you don't know me. I don't know you, because what happens to you is going to happen to me. And I care a lot about me, like a lot. So if I care a lot about me and I care about everybody else it's going to affect, that includes you, Donkey Girl. But thank you for your comment. You don't have a show. No, did I call it a show? I don't know. Fuck it. You're right. I don't have a show. And I don't know if Yes Sir ever responded to, you're such a welcoming person, ready for a civil discussion. Sure, come on up. I've already said, hit the guest button below. And here's what usually happens. I'll start off nice and cool and calm. I'll try to have a civil discussion. And then a lot of people have that civil discussion back with me, and I'll listen and we'll have a discussion. I'll probably disagree with a lot of what they say. But then we have a lot of dummies who think they're going to get feisty and they think they're going to go off the rails. And that's when I'm going to go off the rails. I'm going to hit back. So that's just, I think, in fairness, to let you know, I'll be cordial, but if you're not cordial and you're going to go at me, I'm coming back at you. Believe me, you don't scare me. I see you got some red spots in here. Yeah, Army Girl, there's definitely some red spots in here. And hopefully that means what I think it means. Because you know what? I am kind of new to TikTok. So it's been about 2 months. So there's some lingo in TikTok that I might not understand, but we'll see. Horseshit, Donkey Girl says. Donkey Girl doesn't believe me. Donkey Girl, come on up. Let's talk. No, you're not. Brad says, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Brad. I apologize. Russia plans to take Ukraine and other countries in Europe. The expansion is a major play. Yeah, they do plan on taking Ukraine and other countries in Europe. And a lot of those countries are our allies. And then we're really going to have to get involved. Unfortunately, with this new administration, we are even going to fuck over our NATO allies. And if you people think that this makes this country stronger, and by the way, FK and Munchies, I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm just going off of your comment. But if you think that in any way this makes our country stronger, Donald Trump has already made our country weaker. He is already losing jobs in this country. He is already raising the prices in this country. He already has the Federal Reserve basically saying, we were going to lower rates because things were heading back to normal under the last administration. And again, if anybody wants to come up and discuss that, please come up. Please, because you think I'm just saying it because I love Joe Biden, which I do. He's one of the best presidents I've ever had in my lifetime, period. And none of you will intimidate me out of saying that. None of you scare me about that because I have facts to back that up. You guys just hear Joe Biden's old. He doesn't know where he's at. And you believe every single word of that. You think he was an ineffective president, which was completely the opposite. In fact, we were heading to a place where the interest rates were getting ready to go down. Everything was going to be fine. But now this fucking moron has just come in and fucked it all up. Okay. Let's see. So you're mad at a guy for catching billions in wasteful spending. Grog55, you might be late to this live. If you're late to the live, just say yes, I'm late to it, because I've already addressed that. There's not an American that in this country with logic in their head that is angry at catching billions of dollars in wasteful spending. Not a person, not one. But when it's a dude who is the richest man in the world, who is looking out for himself, who is being investigated by the very agencies and departments he is dismantling, and also, quite frankly, anti-Semitic And yeah, he 100% did that salute. There's the guys in the comments, stop wasting your fingers. Don't even waste your finger energy. There's nothing you'll say. You can do the LOLs, you can laugh, you can do all that stuff. He 100% did that. He's a piece of shit, Elon Musk. 100% piece of shit. So that's what I'm mad at. I'm not mad at anything finding wasteful spending. So don't hit me with that tired, stupid, boring, dumb shit. What do you want me to prove, donkey girl? God damn it. I already asked you to come up here. Oh my God. I guarantee. Let me tell you, because I already know these people. And I've said this before on the lives before. So if you're new to the live, this will be new to you. But if you're not, you've heard this before. I use the term you people a lot, and I hear people go, you people, what do you mean by you people? What I mean by you people are big political dummies, flying monkeys for whatever you hear, and then you fly around like the flying monkey because the wicked bitch of Mar-a-Lago told you something, and then you go around and you regurgitate it on TikTok lives and on message boards and places like that. So when I say you people, I'm always talking about stupid political idiots. Now, I always use this caveat. You may be smart, donkey girl. You might do something in life where you're smart at it. And I go, holy shit, donkey girl's really smart about this. And I will listen to everything you have to say about that particular field or that particular thing that you're smart about. And then we'll go, okay, you want to talk politics? And then you'll open your mouth. And then I'm getting the fuck out of there because you're a stupid flying monkey. You people. That's what I mean. So that's where you're wrong. Brad said, this is why we can't talk to you. You can talk to me, Brad. I'm happy to have you come up and talk to me. This will be the last call for anybody that wants to come up. All About the Truth says, I am so lost. I am not lost. I know exactly where I am right now. I am in my home. I am sitting on my couch. I am staring at my dog, staring at me, wondering when the fuck I'm going to wrap this up. And now I feel bad because she's got those very sad doggy eye looks, and that crushes me. And, that'll always get me. So, but other than that, All About Truth, I know exactly where the fuck I am. Believe me, I do. Let's see. Dude, quit watching CNN. Oh, that's one of my oh, damn it. You know what? That's what I'm going to do on the next live. I'm going to have a list of the things people say in the flying monkeys say in the chat constantly, because they have literally zero thoughts of their own. None of this is original thought from them. Josh Hyatt, do you really think you're the first person to bring up CNN? I've been hearing CNN for fucking 9 years now. I mean, we're still using the lame, boring, tired CNN line. And I guarantee TDS is coming too. All right. Well, here we are on YouTube Live. Somebody just apparently reported me for hate speech, which is, weak and pretty damn pathetic. So they ended my live and I just appealed it. Last time this happened, it happened to me twice. The first time, the appeal did not win. And I have literally no idea what I said. Now, calling somebody stupid and flying monkeys might be one of the reasons. So I get, but I did that on another live before, and I appealed it, and I had my account back up the very next day. So this sucks when this happens, but I still have my YouTube show. Anybody watching, Angel and Baby Juggernaut, thank you for coming in. And I'm sorry I didn't get to read your comments on there, because all the comments, if you guys are on TikTok, follow me on there. And I'd love for you to guys come in on TikTok. And anytime you want to come up and chat or comment against the flying monkeys that I have to battle, literally they're going and going and going. So it's hard to keep up with them. It's not like YouTube. I mean, there's way more comments on TikTok Live than there are on YouTube. So, maybe you guys can get in there, help me fill up the army a little bit and get some thing. Clinton even sold military bases and had government to be in the black. Clinton's the one of the very few presidents that actually left office with a surplus. So yes, very good point. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to end this live as well. So hopefully you guys join me again. I think I might try to do this. I might go live on YouTube when I am on TikTok live. So so join me there and follow me on TikTok. You can just find me, Brian Rundle. Follow me on there. If you're somebody that's MAGA and you want to debate or you want to have a chat about it, please come up and we can do that. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining tonight, and join me again on Tuesday night, Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. We will be on live at 7 o'clock. Good night, Angel. Thank you so much for joining as always. And Baby Juggernaut, you as well. And anybody else that joined that was not in the chat. Thank you guys. And I will see you next time.